Good morning. Hopefully everyone is having a great Tuesday morning today. Today, we are all talking about how to brand your business to generate leads on social media. And just to get a few logistics out of the way, we do have someone in chat that if you would like to ask questions throughout the webinar, I would encourage you to type them in the chat box, and that way we can answer them throughout. However, we will have a Q&A at the very end of the session as well. So if we don't get to your question, it's likely because we are answering it within the presentation at some point, or it just might be valuable enough that we want to answer for everybody. So let's go ahead and dive in. So a little bit about us. If you're not familiar with Back At You already, we are a proud partner of the National Association of Realtors Realtor Benefits Program, as well as we are Facebook marketing partners. So we really are that intersection of both real estate and social media. Also, this is something that we wanted to offer to you guys today. It's something brand new, and we wanted to give it exclusive to anyone who's watching this webinar either live or if you are watching a recording of this. So we will put this exact link that is in the screen in the chat for you, so that way you have accessibility to it. But we wanted to give everyone a 14-day free trial to our services, just our little gift to you. That way, if you wanted to see what Back At You is all about, you absolutely can with no risk. And we do not even ask for a credit card. It's really, really simple. We just wanted to show you our platform and let that be our little gift to you. So we'll bring this link back up at the end, but wanted to at least let you know that that is our gift to you today during this webinar. But let's go ahead and dive into the actual material. So let's talk about what to expect. What are we even talking about? So how to generate leads on social media by having effective branding is sort of the overarching umbrella. But it's all about how to get your brand out to the right people on social media. As we know, there are tons of people out there. So how to get your brand out to the right people, how to appeal to your target audience. Also, we'll discuss social media content that actually performs well on these platforms. And then, of course, how to leverage hyper-targeted leads on social media by running advertisements. So first things first. What is your brand? And of course, the first thing that always is going to come to mind is real estate agent, right? Or real estate broker, real estate professional. But oftentimes agents make the mistake of jumping onto social media without having a precise definition of their brand and their intent for using that platform in the first place, whether it is Facebook or Instagram or Twitter or LinkedIn. So let's first define a brand, right? A brand is one, how consumers feel about doing business with you, just their emotional guttural reaction. Two, what a consumer says about your business behind your back or online via reviews. And then three, it's just you. You make up your brand, your personality makes up your brand. Even looking at this image, I'm sure certain logos here resonate a very specific emotion with you or a very specific feeling of you doing business with them in the past, whether positive or negative. So now let's talk about how do you stand out, right? What is your brand? One thing that your brand absolutely needs in order to be effective is, of course, differentiation. So if there's nothing that you feel like sets you apart from other agents in your market, then most people probably aren't going to notice you separate from agent B or C, that is your competition. So one way to start is just by asking yourself, what values does my real estate business represent? And here are just some ideas that maybe can get your wheels turning. Are you the agent that adds personal touches, that deals with clients, right? Are you the agent that is all business, that stops at nothing to get the job done? Are you the agent that works with very specific communities, right? Maybe you work with veterans or animal lovers or those who are handicapped, right? If you have a very specific niche like that, that will set you apart. Maybe you're a luxury agent that works with very high-end properties, has a very keen eye for exquisite detail in every single listing. Or maybe you like to work with millennials. Maybe you use humor or very creative ways to attract an audience. So always think about what makes me stand out, what makes me different from all of the other competition in my local farm area. Now, one thing that we hear quite often whenever we bring up this topic is, I have all of those qualities, right? I'm gonna work with everyone. I can work with anyone. And of course, you can work with everyone, but it doesn't always mean you should. Now, we're not saying ever turn business away. Of course, no one's going to do that. But by focusing your branding efforts, you're much more likely to attract potential clients, especially those who want your specific skill set and your experience. So that way, finding your niche is going to bring more business at the end of the day, not less. Again, we understand that you're not going to turn business away, but the point is to be more focused on your outbound marketing. So here are some examples just of clients that have really nailed their branding on social media, right? And we'll show you some images as examples. All of these images are pulled from Instagram, if you're curious, simply because it's a very quick snapshot of a visual of their branding, along with a caption as well. The first example here is Joyce Ray, real estate. Now, this first example, she says, wow, I don't drive a Ferrari very often. This is an amazing car, rally in Napa Valley a few years ago. A few things to point out. She's in a very expensive car. She's in Napa Valley. Also, this isn't even a recent photo. It is okay to pull things from your archive as a throwback Thursday, which that hashtag TBT right there stands for. She also provides a call to action, follow my blog. So this isn't even real estate related, right? But right off the bat, you're understanding what her brand is all about. You're understanding the clients that she usually likes to attract, etc. This is also Joyce Ray. Of course, this is a past lease, right? A majestic published Paul Williams estate located in Beverly Hills. Again, you know the kind of clients that this lady already works with. You know the kind of clients she at least wants to attract. Again, important to note, this is a past lease. She's showing something from her past, not her present. That is okay as long as it resonates with your current branding and your current goals. And this one is one of my favorite examples as well, because this isn't even hers. It's a repost from Business Insider showing a beautiful Miami penthouse. This isn't even one of her listings. It's simply her reposting from another Instagram user. So whenever you're looking at these pictures from Joyce Ray, of course, the immediate words that come to mind are luxurious, expensive, professional, high-end. And one of the reasons that these real estate professionals found success in their branding is because it's authentic to themselves and the brand that they've represented in the past too. So your real estate brand should represent you on both a personal, but also a professional level. And if it doesn't, you're gonna have a hard time sticking with it. And potential clients also might be able to see right through it. So here's the last one from Joyce Ray, and then we'll go on to another example. This is a current listing of hers, right? Just listed, it's a beautiful interior shot. Also notice it's not the entire property that she's showing here. It's one room, one snapshot, especially on Instagram, which we talked about in a previous webinar of ours. It's okay to spread the love with your listings. Post one photo one day of a certain room, post another feature wall on another day of the same listing. It is completely fine as long as it still resonates with your brand, your business, and your overall goals. Now here's another example of a very, very specific brand with a specific niche. Homes for Heroes, right? So obviously they work with veterans, they work with firefighters, they work with retired police officers, the Navy. So of course, looking at their social media presence, they are philanthropic, they're kind, they're all about community, they're very supportive. And right off the bat, they're not even showing a ton about real estate. They're simply showing you their brand and then simply alluding to their goals as well in their captions. Now, this is one of my favorite examples. I'm not sure if you have ever heard of this account before. If you haven't, it is such a treat. This is The Broke Agent. They have a very specific niche on Instagram as well as on Facebook, but they use meme humor to attract millennial buyers, to attract the largest working force, as well as the largest pool of home buyers right now, right? Also, they're attracting other agents, which is a very unique strategy to The Broke Agent. They're using real estate humor to attract tons of networking opportunities. They're really casting a wide net for any referrals in other markets. But as you can see, they're all about humor. They're all about creating really, really funny memes on the internet. And again, although it's very much about real estate, it's not shoving listings down your throat. It's very, very specific. It's very niche to them and their own goals of attracting a very specific client base. So now let's talk about you. Those are three very good, very, very different examples, but hopefully it was able to showcase exactly how you can be specific and still incredibly successful in generating the kind of audience that you want. So now let's talk about your social media. Does it need a branding facelift, if you will? The first thing to think about when it comes to social media is your first impression helping you or is it hurting you? At the end of the day, now more than ever, especially with social distancing measures, as you can see, I am very much still conducting this webinar in the comfort of my own home. Everyone is turning to the internet, and this isn't going to go away. Even once these precautions lift eventually, everyone is still going to resort online to do their research. So make sure if your first impression is hurting you, it is not going to behoove you in the long run. Also, this applies to every social media platform as well as your website. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever you decide to use, make sure that they are updated on a regular basis and they all reflect your specific branding. Also ask yourself, and maybe even ask others when they do a little Google search, what's the first thing people notice about your brand? Is it that you are on it, if you're posting on a regular basis, sharing relevant information to your market, or is it that you haven't posted since 2006 or haven't updated your social media in quite some time? Now, let's talk about some things to review on your social media profiles now that you have those wheels turning, thinking of things that you might want to update. So this is your Facebook page here, or an example of one, but this applies across the board to every single social media profile, right? First off, your page name. So for Facebook, that'll be your page name. For Instagram, it could be your Instagram handle or Instagram name. On LinkedIn, of course, that's just your name unless you use a business page, etc. So again, this applies across the board. But first start there. Is your page name just Katie Calloway, or is it Katie Calloway, real estate professional with, let's say, RE/MAX, right? Make sure that whatever you're putting there is very specific to who you are and what you do as well. Also a cover photo. Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook all give you the option to upload some kind of banner or cover photo on the platform. And this is a really great and easy branding opportunity anytime someone lands on your page. Here you can provide a very quick snapshot of the homes you work with, the area that you most typically work in, or anything that resonates with your personality or brand as well. Now your about section and your bio. This is probably the most important part, especially whenever it comes to Facebook, and I'll explain why. Although not a lot of people click on the about section, which is, if you can see it right where this last arrow is on the left-hand side, although not many users on Facebook will opt into clicking on that about section, it is so important to have it filled out to its absolute maximum capacity because it's going to help generate a lot of SEO or search engine optimization results and drive more people to your Facebook page or to your website. So although people might not find it on Facebook and find value there on Facebook, it will help boost you in Google results if you have it fully fleshed out. If you have all of the descriptions filled out, it'll only benefit you that way. Also your contact information, and we'll get into this in a second, but if someone wants to use you, they also have to know how to use you and how to reach you. One mistake I see over and over and over again are real estate professionals saying, contact me. That's great, I would love to, but I don't know how. So as long as your contact information is readily available on all of these platforms in many different spaces, then you'll be successful. Also the Our Story section, it is on Facebook, but there are a lot of miscellaneous applicable fields on Instagram, on LinkedIn. So make sure that you're really walking through the process on each of these platforms to have all of those very miscellaneous sections filled out. Again, whether or not they're incredibly important on the platform themselves is kind of a minute point. Again, it'll always help with search engine optimization. And keep in mind too, people make decisions based on emotion and then later justify it with logic. So if they see your page, it looks professional, it looks like you're a go-getter and can get the job done, that's gonna make much more sense than whether you have all those qualities, but you don't post on a regular basis, or you have poor quality content or only text content, right? You might have all of those qualities, but if they're not resonating with your online audience, they're not going to be effective. Now let's talk about content in general. Post content that actually performs well, and that includes a wide mix of content. Now, there's so much to dive into whenever it comes to content alone, so we'll leave it to just a few quick tips. You want to post diverse content, blogs, some just still images, but for the most part, video is going to be huge for performance on social media. Of course, it probably is a no-brainer since humans are, for lack of a better way of saying it, lazier than ever, and we want to digest information as easily as possible. But 80% of audiences, of course, would rather watch a video from a brand than read a blog or an article. In fact, Facebook themselves said that at some point in 2021, pretty much their entire social media platform will be some form of video content. So if you're not already utilizing videos, posting videos, using a third party to create videos for you for your social media platforms, then you're definitely behind the curve, and the time to start was yesterday, quite frankly. And again, Facebook and other social media platforms, their algorithms tend to favor video content since the engagement is a lot higher than, let's say, a still image or even just a piece of text. Also, put the social back in social media. Now more than ever, and I say that quite literally, everyone is on social media more to find that human connection and that connectivity that we miss from being in person with a lot of other people. Social media is named that for a reason. It's not called "let me promote my brand" media. So it's okay to post non-real estate related content. In fact, we absolutely encourage it. It's something that we do for you as well. So engage with your audience, showcase your local expertise. If you want to tell someone I'm an expert in this area, then show them by being a concierge in a sense. Give them restaurant recommendations, give them certain events that make sense in your area. There are a lot of wonderful drive-through events happening right now. Especially with the pandemic happening, I'm encouraging a lot of real estate professionals to utilize very small local businesses and sing their praises, because it becomes an I scratch your back, you scratch mine sort of mentality. For example, if you are having an open house that's in person, or even if it's virtual, you can even tag a local bakery that you've used in the past that always does really wonderful open house goodies. And then more often than not, they'll appreciate the shout out and they'll repost it on their own pages because they like the compliment. So definitely keep that in mind. Put the social back in social media. You don't want to force feed people your brand or your actual business itself in a salesy tactic. Simply communicate with others. Also, being social on social media means replying to comments and responding to others. It's not a one-way conversation. Social media is very much a call and response. And the more you engage, the more likely that you will be a referral for someone, that you will be an immediate resource for someone looking to buy or sell their home that week. Also, leads are out there for the taking 100%, but you have to advertise a little bit to be seen. So let's face it, even if you have hundreds, even thousands of people on your Facebook business page or on your Instagram account, more likely than not, you're not always going to be seen that much because these platforms, whether we love it or we hate it, have very much become pay to play. The good thing is the pay part is not that much. It's really not that expensive, especially whenever you're comparing it to something like Google Ads. So you do have to be willing to spend a little bit of money if you want that exposure to skyrocket. In fact, Facebook reaches 2.2 billion monthly users, which is crazy. And half of those users have purchased something that they directly saw on social media. That applies to real estate as well. 45% of home buyers have walked through a home that they originally viewed online. And of course, as we can assume, that number is only going up with the virtual open houses, virtual showings, virtual tours that are happening all the time right now. And again, Facebook ads are a fraction of the cost of advertising on Google as well as other platforms. So if you want to maximize your reach, social media is a great way to do that.
Also, fun. You're so fluffy.
Keep in mind that leads want to find you as well, okay? It's important to know why they should use you, i.e. your brand, what you are putting out there and advertising, but also they have to know how to use you. Are you looking for listing leads? Are you looking for buyer leads for a specific listing that you have on the market? So make sure anytime that you do put out those call to action that it is very, very crystal clear, like a home valuation landing page, right? Get the highest price for your home, see what your home is worth right now, maybe your contact information. It could be incredibly, incredibly simple. But every single time you want to generate leads on social media, your CTA has to be very, very clear for buyers or sellers. The whole contact me to buy or sell a home today is very overdone. It's very vague. So every single time, be specific, be intentional, ask for what you want, and more likely than not, having that specificity is going to be definitely more beneficial than not. So now you've got your leads. Let's say you generate a ton just from one home value landing page. Now what, right? Well, you have to deliver. Failing to follow through is a mistake that can ruin your brand and completely get rid of everything that you've worked so hard to establish, especially now with online reviews being a huge space on the internet. So make sure to practice what you post. If you say that you're the luxury agent that stops at nothing to get the job done and you fall short, unfortunately, that is not going to behoove you, especially when someone ends up reviewing you on Zillow or on Facebook. So make sure that you're always practicing what you post. So let's recap. Just a short and sweet recap here. The 3 most important aspects when it comes to your branding, whatever it may be, whether it's humor, whether it's luxury, whether it's philanthropy. So it's going to be your social media content. That's the most visual aspect of social media. It's just what you're posting, what people are seeing, putting that social aspect back into social media. Also your listings, of course, your active listings do resonate your brand. If it's a luxury property, most people are going to assume you're a luxury agent. If you're sharing someone else's listing, of course, with their permission and your own municipal codes and how that works where you guys live, then of course you can get creative or share past listings of your own that are very brand specific to you. And then lead generation as well. Ideally, all of this would be automated to save you a lot of time. And I know we've talked a lot today in a short amount of time, but that's exactly why Back At You exists. Again, we are giving you a free trial to what we offer. But basically we automate your listings, your content, which includes video content, branded blogs, also local non-real estate related content. All of this is completely in the free trial. As well as if you want, we can run those Facebook ads for you. We are, again, Facebook marketing partners and can tap directly into that algorithm. So if you feel overwhelmed, if everything that I've been saying seemed like good advice, but you don't even know where to start in implementing it, utilize that 14-day trial. It's just us showing you that we can automate everything that we've been talking about and providing you with notifications and analytics, so that way you can see exactly what we're doing and how it's performing across Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We make sure to harness the power of all 4 of those social media platforms, not just one. So you have access to all of them. So again, here is that link to the free trial. We will make sure to put that in chat, which I will pull up here. Also, I'll go ahead and open it up to the Q&A. And if anyone has questions, feel free to ask them. Let's see. Curious about cost. Sure, I'm assuming you mean after the free trial. And again, we do not ask for your credit card whatsoever. Let me pull up our packages. You know what? I don't think I have them in this slide. Basically, we have 3 different ways that you can pay. You can do monthly, you can do semi-annually or annually. It starts as low as $75 a month with no contract. We don't feel the need to lock you into a contract. It just is how you want to handle your billing, quite frankly, because what we do really works and we know that you'll be a long-term client no matter what. But if you would like, there is our website, just backatyou.com. And you can see a full layout of our pricing there as well. What is a reasonable schedule for posting daily, weekly, or more? That's a really, really great question. Oftentimes it depends on the platform, but since we work with all 4 platforms, both Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn, the way that our system is automatically set up is to post once every other day. And there's a few reasons why. We do allow you to switch on the option for us to post daily if you would like. However, some platforms, Facebook specifically, as well as Instagram, their algorithms can flag even that frequency as spam, and they end up hiding your organic reach. So posting once every other day, which ends up being about 15 times a month, is going to be the absolute best way to increase your organic reach without really causing some kind of posting fatigue on your end or your audience's end as well. Does your service provide manual posts or fully automated? It's fully automated. However, you have complete creative control. So if you want to go in and see everything that we've scheduled in advance, change something, swap something out, delete something, or even just readjust the categories in which we pull content, you absolutely can do that. Also, if you have a specific piece of content, like a video testimonial, maybe a review from your website you would like to share, then you can also just create your own content and schedule that in advance. So not only are we a calendar and a scheduler that we go ahead and make the content scheduled for you, but you can also fully customize it to the best of your ability. And that also includes listings, by the way. So we do sync up with your MLS if you get a new listing, or if you'd like to promote a virtual open house, maybe a recently sold property. All of those capabilities are directly within our social media center. When you post for a client, do they give you an outline of content, a blog post, and then you write it and then tweet an excerpt, LinkedIn excerpt? I see. Or do you have a standard evergreen content that you post for people? So it's pretty much a mix of both. We're always putting in new content. We're always evaluating feedback from our clients as far as what kind of content that they want. Everything that we do post, we curate in-house. However, you again have full creative control. We would like to adjust the caption. We also give you the ability to install what's called a content signature. It's kind of like an email signature where it would be on every single post at the bottom. A lot of people, of course, put their IDs, or they could put their contact information, or some have a creative tagline. Again, that resonates with their branding. So completely up to you, but for the most part, we take care of absolutely everything. With that said though, your content will not be the same as someone else who uses back at you. We make sure to mix it up in a way where no one has the same piece of content going out at the same time. You're not gonna look like the same carbon copy as someone else in your area that's using us. Do you think the tagline and branding is better at the top or bottom of a post? Well, your branding is not just going to be the caption. Your branding is also going to be the actual content of the post. So the image that you're sharing, or the listing that you're sharing, or the video that you're sharing as well. So as far as a tagline, I more often than not see that at the bottom because it's an afterthought. It's a way to sign off, right? You want the actual meat of the message to be at the very beginning, especially with platforms like Instagram and Facebook where brevity is key. You want your captions to be shorter. So the reason why is there's often a see more button where you would have to click to expand to read the whole caption. And remember, people are rapidly scrolling through their phones. They're mindlessly scrolling through social media. So your branding and the meat of it is going to be an actual content itself, as well as the very top of the caption. And that's where you want to have your call to action, compel people to take some kind of action, whether it's follow you, like the post, etc. Really good questions though, you guys. How brief should the post be? Again, brevity is key no matter what platform we're talking about. So one mistake I see all of the time are people posting a collage of a listing and then putting the entire MLS description in the caption of the social media post. While it seems like that would make sense because you want to give everyone all of the information they need about the listing, it's not going to benefit you. I would say keep it very, very brief. There are a few reasons why. Again, first off, people are just rapidly scrolling through social media, and although you would like to imagine that they will read it to its full entirety, they just won't. So instead, provide some kind of call to action where they can visit a link to learn more, where they can contact you to learn more. Just mention a feature or two about the property you're talking about or about the post that you're sharing. The short and sweeter, the better. All right, any more questions? These are really great questions, you guys. I hope everyone has learned something today as well. Is there an original consultation, or is it all done on the website? Completely up to you. If you fill out this free trial link, I can make a note of your name and have one of our social media experts reach out to you and kind of walk you through it, see what your social media presence really needs and how we can help. So both, you can do it all yourself if you love the free trial and want to utilize our services long-term. Super easy to do it yourself. However, we can absolutely have someone contact you as well to make sure that you are getting what you want and what you need out of our service.
Credits though for training.
Do you have best practices or a cheat sheet on the site? So we have a huge library of Help Center articles and videos that have very similar topics to the one we're discussing now, as well as ongoing webinars for our social media clients. So as far as a cheat sheet, we have a lot of articles and helpful resources there. But as far as just a one sheet, we do not, just because we do so much, it would be too much to even fit on one page. All right, any more questions? And then we will call it a day, my friends. Again, please utilize this free trial link. It is just our gift to you, whether you love us, whether you see it's not going to be the best fit, let us know. You can also email us at hey@backatyou.com. If you have any questions just following this webinar, oops, so sorry, I sent that privately. I meant to send that publicly. Just hey@backatyou.com. That is going to go to myself as well as Grant Pierce, who is in the chat with us today as well. And we are more than happy to answer questions, refer to you as social media expert if you have questions about our service and want to get a free consultation to see if it'll be a good fit. More than happy to continue this conversation off of this webinar. So thank you all so incredibly much. George, we actually do enterprise deals, and we can create a full roster for you as well. We have tons of broker packages to see what would be the most beneficial for you as well as your agents. So feel free to, you can email me. I'll also make a note of your name if that's something that you're interested in, but we have a lot of different options depending on how many agents that you have.
Thank you so much, Katie. This was a great presentation and a lot of really good tips. We appreciate your taking the time to present to us today.
Of course, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. I hope everyone learned something. And again, this is recorded, so hopefully you will be able to access it at a later date as well. And feel free to email us, utilize that free trial. And thank you so much for attending. You guys had wonderful questions and were wonderful attendees.
Thank you, Katie.
Absolutely. Stay safe and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.